Live from the Man Cave, treadmills and tangents with Coach Aaron Saron and his army of wellness warriors. Live in discussion of all things health and wellness, along with community topics they happen to stumble upon.
Good morning, Omaha. Welcome again on another fine Saturday morning. You're here with Coach. Another edition of Treadmills and Tangents, your health and wellness show. I got Sam and Tim with me again.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. All right, guys. Saturday. I love Saturday mornings. You know why?
Because you hang out with us?
Yes.
Because our wives aren't here? I mean, I could go coffee, on. Right.
Because I don't have to be up at 4:30 in the morning or 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
for once.
that is
nice.
true.
That is nice once in a while. And I can stay up a little bit later and get into whatever movie. Last weekend, I got into the movie Ip Man.
Ooh.
I haven't seen it. Like, it's one of the martial arts movies you have to see, and I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen it either, but I hear pretty good stuff about it.
I turned it on at midnight.
Did you make it through?
I did. I turned it on, and all of a sudden 2 a.m. rolls around. I'm like, tomorrow's going to be terrible.
You got to wear the blue blockers, man.
I don't think blue blockers help when you're up till 2 in the morning at that point.
Hey, at least you're comfy in your underoos.
That's true.
Quit with the underoos.
Hey, you're the one that brought it up weeks ago. We're just assuming. For the record, we're not here to see what I
do in my own time is my own business.
That's fair.
Now, if I'm around town parading my underoos, that's different because now I'm impacting other people.
If you do, that might be the only time we can ever make you do push-ups on this show. Is if you actually parade around.
True statement. I'll give you that.
Sam and I have had several conversations. It's like, man, how do we ever catch him to make him do push-ups? And I was like,
there's really not a way.
That might be it. That might be the only thing we
could.
Yeah, we agree.
Because it's good to be the king. So you can't make the king do push-ups. Now, I have said. Speaking about being in public in your unders, I've always told my wife, if I ever hit the lotto or the Powerball, I am going to run down I-80 butt naked.
But that's fair.
I
would allow that. That would be allowed. I mean, come on.
I'm going to do it with like a handful of $100 bills. So I have my bail. when they come pick me up, I'm going to have bail in hand.
You need like a cape too or something. Like, some people like on the news, it's not just a naked guy. It's like a naked guy in a random cape with throwing $100 bills around.
Wearing blue blockers. At the end of the day. So Timmy, how'd the blood drive go?
Blood drive went very well. So if any of you guys came out and donated, we really appreciate that. It's again, we do something every year. So for those of you that don't know, blood donation can save up to 3 lives. The Red Cross now will, if you did donate, send you an email later. It tells you exactly where it went. So what area of the country it went to help people, which is really awesome.
And not only do that, they will remind you the second you're eligible to donate again.
Yes, they are. They are aggressive.
They're persistent. Let's use persistence.
It's funny when we'll do a blood drive and I'll donate and then I'll get a call like 2 weeks later wanting to set one up again. I'm like, I just went through like 3 months of and doing the blood drive is not a lot of work, but I'm very passionate about it, so I put everything into it.
Well, the year we hosted at the gym down at Mid American Martial Arts, we hosted it and like 2 months later I get a call. Are you interested in donating again? I'm like, I just hosted a blood drive. Yeah. I just gave you damn near 100 pints.
Yeah, they do like them some blood.
So, that's good. And there's a shortage. I mean, as many blood drives as there's still a shortage.
And blood's the only thing you can't manufacture. So, I mean, it's got to come from someone. There's nothing now that allows them to manufacture that to be able to help people. So it's a necessary evil. Sure.
And if you can do doubles and do platelets...
Yeah, do it.
Or plasma. It's plasma, right?
Plasma. And platelets too. Yeah.
Yeah, do it. Guys, do it all. I mean, you're not down for any specific time. Like, you may not want to work out afterwards, but you just drink a little bit of water and juice. Your body regenerates pretty quick.
And the whole donation process, you got to do a little bit of paperwork, but now they've made that easy. In the morning, you wake up, you jump online, fill out the questionnaire, so when you get there, they scan your barcode, 15 minutes at most of donation time, and you are... You get a little, cupcake, a little piece of cake, a high five, and away you go.
And check out Tim's Foundation, Monsters Mission, helping kids and pediatric cancers. Definitely something worthwhile because, anybody suffering from cancer is terrible. I wouldn't wish that disease on anybody,
sure.
but kids especially, their life hasn't even started yet. So if donating a little bit of blood can help a couple of those kids, why not? It's worth a half hour, an hour max of your time.
Yeah, there's a long way.
And there's always good food there.
Yeah, we do. We try to keep it good. We know some people.
I crushed me some Buffalo Wild Wings last time. It was pretty good.
It's good to know people that like to donate and do good things like that.
So guys, we came across an article from personal trainers about the worst advice they've ever given or heard being given by another personal trainer. And which, guys, again, we've talked about this, that the industry is largely unregulated in terms of personal trainers and qualifications, courses that you need to take. There's some great trainers out there. There's some really bad trainers out there. The industry's getting better and better. It kind of self-polices to an extent, but with the amount of information that's out there and YouTube and people taking gym videos all the time of gym fails, the gym fail videos, and you see a trainer standing there while somebody does a cartwheel and lands on their head while trying to do a pull-up. Just crazy stuff like that. Better and better stuff out there all the time. Better and better trainers out there. But there's still some shenanigans. There's still some people that get out there and just open up their place and
some fallacies
based on bro science at best,
or they read it online and think, oh, that's got to be it, so they start telling it and it spreads.
So number one on the list, if it's not working, if it doesn't hurt. Wow, I screwed that one up.
That's a mouthful. Yeah.
If it's not working, it doesn't hurt. Now this is funny to me because coming up through old school karate and old school martial arts, it was a whole no pain, no gain mantra.
Right.
No pain, no
Cobra
gain.
Kai, man.
It was. Even on our gis, we had no pain, no gain on the back of them for a little while. Again, it's understanding what does that really mean. Does it really mean are we physically hurting each other, or does it mean that you need to struggle to make it happen, right? And, we've talked on the show, we had Dale Sunderman on the show talking about that the brain actually needs to struggle to get smarter and to improve, to expand itself,
it's a
right?
muscle.
Exactly.
So the body needs to struggle. Like there's data, there's scientific data saying the body needs to struggle to improve, right? Because it's trying to maintain that homeostatic state. Now, struggle and physically hurting people, in other words, do people need to be throwing up, running for the trash can every workout? No, that's not necessary. Do they need to train to the point where it's utter failure that they can't physically walk out of the place? No, that's not necessary.
Correct.
And that's what this is talking about. When you have actual pain, right? And now here's the difference. Even in our own gym, down at Mid-American Martial Arts, when people go, oh, it hurts. I go, well, what do you mean? Right? Does it hurt in that you're tired and it's a sore muscle? That's not the pain we're talking about.
Right.
When you say it hurts, is it like a joint pain? Is it something in your spine or your back? Is it like a shooting pain or somebody's hitting you with a hot poker? That's a different kind of pain than, oh, my muscle's tired and the muscle, like the muscle burn, that's not hurt. That's a good pain to have.
Absolutely.
Right. So you got to be, whenever it's like, what's that football movie? Not Any Given Sunday. The college football movie. James Caan is in it. When he goes to the player, he goes, are you injured or are you hurt? Because if you're hurt, you can still play. If you're injured, you can't play. Oh, I got to look that up.
Yep,
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Oh, it's called, it's on the tip of my tongue. The Program. That's the movie called The Program. And he goes, are you hurt or are you injured? Right. And that's what I'm getting at is like when you tell me it hurts, like is it an injury hurt or is it I'm tired, exhausted, I'm not used to my legs burning.
Right. Or is it one of you're working your body to a point where, I tell people all the time when we're working out, like don't let your mind convince your body that you're tired. Just because it starts to get tough doesn't mean like, oh, it hurts, I got to stop doing what I'm doing. Like you have to overpower that stuff. You have to overcome it.
Well, there again, define hurt.
Correct.
Like when we have people that think my back hurts. Well, what do you mean? It hurts my back. I go, well, it's a back exercise. So is this like, are you feeling discomfort or is it you're tired? Like
you feel like your legs are going numb?
Yeah, what's going on here? So define hurt. So the second one, lifting weights will make your body bulky. Well, it can. If that's what you're trying to do.
If you've seen a bodybuilder, that's kind of what they do.
There's ways of doing that.
Yeah, it can, but not automatic. And this one's probably the bigger concern for women. I don't want to lift weights, I don't want to get bulky. Well, it all comes down to how you lift weights, right? It's are you in the the 2 to 4 rep range where you're just building strength? Are you in the 8 to 12 range hypertrophy range? Are you in the 15 to 20 muscle endurance range?
Sure.
They're all going to have different effects on your body. Yeah, you can get bulky, but just lifting weights won't automatically make you bulky.
I think a good example of this is the person that we gave we do our yearly awards at the gym. So for TFW this year, we gave it to Heather Bass, who has been doing TFW, but lower weights, but more reps, and you even posted pictures like her back muscle one day.
She'll lift heavy though too. I mean, she'll lift heavy.
She's a good mix.
She's getting very toned, but she's not, like this person that walks in the gym. You're like, whoa!
Yeah, you have to stimulate the muscle with heavy weight. The whole TFW mantra: lift heavy and sprint. Right. All explosive movements, high metabolic movements, and lift heavy. That's what makes the body lean and muscular. Right. Not puffy and bloated. And a lot of it has to do with your diet as well. Your diet will help you bulk, or diet will help you lean down as well. So that is a fallacy that just lifting will make you bulky.
Agreed.
Pretty much Oh, man, I cannot
Wow.
read today.
I got you. Pretty much anything
No
involving
coffee?
Anything involving.
Well, these aren't
carbs.
complete. These are like Confucian,
pretty much
Confucian
anything
sentences.
like
They're like
involving
Yoda. We got
We're
like
reading-
Yoda.
We're reading haikus over
They're
here.
not complete sentences. Pretty much anything involving carbs. So here's what I will say. I agree with this. Okay. But again, it comes down to what is your goal. If you're a high-level athlete training incredibly hard, you're going to need some carbs in your diet.
Sure.
But if you're someone who's trying to lose weight and tone up, we've been talking about the evils of carbs and sugars over and
weeks.
over here.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't think this is bad advice. Now, what happens is that when you get trainers going, eliminate all carbs, like take everything out of your diet and go just fat and just protein. So it gets people to go to an extreme. So you got somebody who's newly starting on a program and then goes to this extreme diet at the same time, and the body's like, "What in the heck are you doing to me?"
Right.
So you have to frame it properly. So what I would say, anything involving carbs, to the point that, hey, let's get rid of the pastas, potatoes, the rices, kind of the junk carbs that you don't necessarily need. So yeah, I kind of agree with that one, actually. I don't think that's such a bad advice.
And right in their advice, I was just waiting to say this. Moderation. It's in moderation.
It's all in, yeah.
Like we've talked about before. You eat healthy. You're not on a keto diet of any sense, but you eat carbs in moderation, which is the key to any way you decide you want to eat. Moderation.
Sure, everything in moderation. Okay, and the last one,
Goals.
I'm gonna read this one slowly. You should be working out every day of the week. Here's what I would say is that no, you don't need to do an exhaustive, full-blown exercise routine every day of the week, but you should be active. If nothing else, do some kind of active rest, what they call active rest. You're outside, mowing the lawn, going for a walk, going for a hike, playing with your kids.
Doing some light yoga, something like that.
Hopping in the pool, doing something fun. Here's what I say. The less sedentary you are, the better chance you have of being healthy.
Absolutely.
Sitting, we know sitting is the new smoking. Sitting has shown a direct correlation to cardiovascular disease, and heart disease. So I would say you don't have to work out every day, but you can.
Sure.
It's not a bad thing to work out every day. And I would go back to are you hurt or are you injured? If you're feeling achy or you're feeling a twinge in your knee, take the day off, right? Or do something light that day. Just go for a walk.
Right.
But I do advocate doing something active every day.
Right.
For sure. Eating less will stimulate your metabolism. Well, here's the thing. If eating less, by that you mean intermittent fasting, I do agree with that.
Right.
The studies are out there. Data shows intermittent fasting is good for you. It does stimulate the body. It helps regenerate the body. It helps regenerate the body's immune system. It does kickstart your metabolism. But what they're saying here is starving. Like, don't starve yourself.
Right.
And reduction in calories. We know the calories in, calories out. Law of thermodynamics argument has kind of been bunked. So less calories doesn't necessarily mean increase in metabolism. But here's what I would say. There's proof showing that smaller, more frequent meals can increase your metabolism.
Right.
For sure. There's no doubt about that. Cardio will stop you from gaining muscle. We know that's garbage. Now, mind you, if you are still lifting heavy and eating a lot, you can still gain muscle. You don't necessarily have to eat a lot, but, lifting heavy will help you gain muscle.
Sure.
It is tough to get in elite cardiovascular shape, like a marathon runner can't put on slabs of muscle, right? You're taking the body in two different directions.
They're mostly very thin.
Almost anemic.
Right. You watched, especially like the Olympics this past year, as you looked at some of those people who were runners, like, holy smokes, they look like they've never eaten a meal in their life.
But if you look at elite sprinters, right, they're lean and muscular.
Right.
NFL players, lean and muscular, and they're sprinting all the time. So they're doing cardiovascular work all the time.
280-pound dudes running down a quarterback or a running back.
Yeah,
like,
so you
clearly
can't,
they're in decent shape.
You know what this gets at is your marathon running, yes, then you're going to have trouble keep putting on and keeping muscle if you're running 10, 15 miles every day or every other day. That's going to be tough. Running will ruin your knees. If you're not running properly, yes, I agree with that. Again, we talked about toe running rather than just slamming your heel into the ground.
I can give you guys a recap of my lecture I got in Thailand.
That's okay.
More about running.
But the line here says running is plyometric. That's true. But when you do plyometrics, you do them up on your toes. You don't do box jumps and land on your heels. Could you imagine that?
Oof, ow.
That'd be earth shattering.
Yeah.
Your spine would scream and your knees would scream. So if you're heel running, yes, I agree with this. It will hurt your knees. There's only one way to do insert exercise here. Oh, what the saying is there's no single way to work out. Okay, and that's true. There's more than one way to skin a cat, guys. No one trainer. If you believe one trainer, this is the only way to do it, or you see the YouTube or the Facebook ads, like this is the way to melt fat away and shred fat. A lot of times it's just a repackaging of old concepts or known concepts. But there's lots of ways, right? There's lots of ways to squat. There's different squatting techniques. You got to find out what works good for you.
Or if they've got
you got to modify.
Correct. You've got to be able to modify it to work for them, or they're still getting a good workout. But maybe they're not doing it the way, like Sam and I lift differently. And part of my problem is I used to have to lift differently because my body shape was much heavier. So
always be leery of a trainer says, "Oh, you're doing that all wrong," or whoever told you how to do that is wrong. Okay, it's just a different way of doing it. Right. Now, you may honestly be doing it wrong. That's not unheard of. But at the same time, just be leery of that's all wrong. This is the right way to do it, because it's like, okay, is it the right way or is it just a different way?
Right.
Okay, and there's lots of ways to do things. Okay, all right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. Again, you're listening to Treadmills and Tangents right here on The Answer, 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. We'll be right back with Dr. Jeffrey Faimon. When you walk into Mid-American Martial Arts, you're walking into more than punching and kicking. You're walking into a community, and that is what I think sets us apart from everybody else. You're going to be training with a group of people who are here to better themselves beyond the punching and kicking. We train anywhere from 4 years old, and we have students as old as in their 60s here. Actually, we've had private students well into their 70s. Our main programs are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, Judo, as well as our strength and conditioning program, which is our Training for Warriors program. Our main goal is that when people leave here, they feel better about themselves. You know, they're a little bit better as a person, they feel a little bit about their life, they feel better about their day. Now, everybody holds baggage, everybody has stress. This is the place where they can come in and put all that away for a little bit and work on themselves. Yeah, do we hope they can defend themselves better? Sure. Do we hope they can punch and kick a little better? Absolutely. Do we hope they lose a little bit of body fat and get a little bit more endurance? Absolutely. But none of that matters if they don't feel good about themselves. And that's the main key. If they can walk out of here feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their life, then we've won that day. Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined today by Dr. Jeffrey Faimon, chiropractor here in Millard. His practice is out on 156 and Q, right in the plaza there, right behind La Mesa. It's probably the best landmark to find you. Jeff, thanks for coming and talking to us today. We're going to talk chiropractic, what it is and what it isn't. And there's still a lot of myth and lore out there about chiropractic, even though it's as old as it is. If you're going to say, what's chiropractic? If you're going to sum it up, how would you sum it up?
Okay. Chiropractic is a method of treating the human body to improve its health and wellness without the use of drugs or surgery. We're different than other healthcare that is considered mainstream, and that's a good thing. We want to be. Chiropractic addresses the philosophy of chiropractic is that the human body is a self-healing and a self-regulating organism. The science behind chiropractic is that the nervous system controls and coordinates every organ and system and function of the body. That actually comes from Grey's Anatomy, which is not this a TV show, but before it was a TV show, Grey's Anatomy is the textbook, the gold standard textbook for science.
An incredibly thick book.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's on its 41st edition of it now. So in Grey's Anatomy, it talks about the nervous system controls and coordinates every organ, every system, and every function of the human body. The nervous system is the master system of the body, and so by affecting and improving the function of the nervous system, we are able to improve the function of the entire human body. The way that we do that is by addressing the spine, the alignment of the vertebrae. The vertebrae fit together to form tunnels that protect the spinal cord, and then the 31 pair of spinal nerves that branch off of that. Those spinal nerves go to every part of our body, the tips of your toes, the tips of your fingers, every organ that you have. The alignment of those vertebrae affect the function of the nervous system. That's really not up for debate anymore. When we improve the alignment of those vertebrae through gentle spinal adjustments, then we are able to improve the nervous system function, and therefore the body functions to its best and fullest potential, and it's able to heal and regulate itself.
So I want to key in, you just said gentle spinal adjustments. And I'm here with Dr. Jeff Faimon, chiropractor here in Millard. Because traditionally when you think of chiropractors, you think of someone throwing your leg one way, your shoulders the other way, and just whoom, and then snap, crackle, pop, and everything's fixed. But really, when you say gentle spinal adjustment, like a lot of times it's just subtleties. For example, and a little backstory on how I met Dr. Faimon. About 10, almost 15 years ago now, I was chasing my dog, my dog Jocko, the husky I had at the time, around the house. We're outside playing. I would chase him. He would chase me. And I came running around the house, and I stepped in a hole. And as soon as I hit the hole, I felt a jolt go down my back. And I was like, holy smokes, that hurt. I didn't think anything of it. And then days, months, weeks later, you keep playing it off. And then one day I found myself on my hands and knees in my office, and I couldn't move. And pain was shooting across my back, down my leg. And I went in to see you. And turns out it was a sciatic issue. We took the x-rays and we went into the protocol. To be honest, I was a skeptic of chiropractors up until that point. But at that point, I couldn't take enough Motrin to kill the pain. And through the protocol, it went away. But my point is that in treating me, it's never been throw the leg over, drop your weight, and big pop. In fact, very rarely do I even crack at all. It's all about hip adjustment and subtle hip adjustments and adjusting my legs. Over the years, how have you guys gotten away from that? We're just going to crack your back and that's it.
You know, there's a lot of different chiropractic techniques. And so there are still, I would say it's probably more common still across the country that when you walk into a chiropractor's office, you're going to get a pretty firm and physical adjustment. When I was in school, if you didn't hear something crack or pop, then you didn't get it. And that wasn't all that long ago. I graduated in 2001. I was fortunate enough to meet someone in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who's been a mentor of mine, and he taught a very gentle technique. And you know, he said studies show that a vertebra is going to move and rehabilitate about a millimeter at a time. There's no use trying to move it 6 inches. It took a little bit for me to accept that, believe that, because my chiropractor was always very rough. It was lay on your side, lay on this side, lay on your back, twist the neck, twist the neck. Now, that worked for me. And that method of adjusting is still actually very, very safe. But I like the technique that I utilize better. It's gentle. It doesn't scare people off. I find that I have more referrals, especially from women. And that's important because women control the healthcare choices of a household. And so
fair assessment.
Yeah. And it's easier on me too. And I want to do this for a long time, a really long time. I really don't even plan to retire. I may shorten my hours as time goes on, but I don't hurt. I have energy from my last patient, the same as I do for my first patient. And I have energy left when I go home to my family.
I know when I talk about, when people ask me, hey, do you go to a chiropractor? It's a question I get a lot as a trainer and a coach. Hey, do you use a chiropractor? Because it's still, and some people still think it's kind of black magic, or they're afraid of chiropractors. I'm not really sure it's legitimate. And I say, yeah, I do. And they go, I don't know if I like all that twisting. And when I explain to them, dude, my back hardly ever cracks when I get adjusted. They look at me like, what do you mean? Like, it's like it's a foreign concept to them that, hey, you know, like I hardly ever hear any noise. We just adjust my hips and that's what works for me. And then it's just like any other medicine. Everybody's going to get adjusted different based on what you need.
Absolutely, because we treat infants and we treat elderly and everything in between, from people that never exercise to people that exercise almost daily. The noise or the pop or the crack, that's associated with the chiropractic treatment. It's not necessary. It really has nothing to do with whether or not the patient gets better. It's simply associated with moving a joint. When you put two vertebrae together, vertebrae are very irregular shaped bones. You can have 6 to 8 little joints between two vertebrae. So you can move one vertebrae and it has 6 to 8 joints where it connects with the one above it and the one below it. You can have a lot of noise just from moving one joint. Again, that really has nothing to do. The whole purpose of what we're doing is moving that bone so that it doesn't interfere with the nervous system, because it's almost like, think of it like a rheostat on an electrical switch. It's not either on or off. As you irritate the nerve, you can diminish its ability to transmit its bioelectrical signal from the brain to wherever it's trying to get to communicate. If you diminish that by 20% or 40% or 60%, you are affecting whatever's on the other end of it. Chiropractors have been accused of being, as you said, black magic or whatever, witch doctors. You know, that's very antiquated now, very antiquated. In fact, my patients now will say that they would tell me almost like a secret, I told my medical doctor I'm coming to see you. It's not that way anymore. Now they say, I told my medical doctor I've been coming, and my medical doctor said, hey, if it's helping, great, go for it.
Well, it's becoming a part of a larger holistic approach to health and wellness.
Without a doubt. It's much more accepted. You know, our schooling is great. We actually have more classroom hours than a medical doctor before they go on and become a specialist or do their rotations. And so we have a lot of classroom hours. We're very well educated. And it's, you know, chiropractic has progressed. As we know it, it started in 1895, but it's actually been around for thousands of years.
What's the most common thing people come to you about? I mean, you think chiropractor, back pain, but it's more than that. What's the most common thing you've been seeing the last, 3-4 years of your practice?
I would say over the entire time of my practice, it's been lower back pain. We are the gold standard for treating lower back pain against medicine, against physical therapy, massage therapy, whatever it is. Chiropractic is the best when it comes to lower back pain. That studies have proven that over and over. And that's not diminishing the other professions, because they all do a wonderful job. There's a lot of wonderful caring people in all those professions, but we're great at lower back pain. Headaches would be number 2. That surprises a lot of people, but headaches would be the number 2 condition that walks through my door. It's usually pain of some sort somewhere in the body. We can adjust feet, knees, shoulders, elbows, and we can also affect those parts of the body. People will come in with radiating pain going down their arm, or pain in their finger that just doesn't make sense. And that can be a pinched nerve in the neck, or pain in their heel or their knee that nobody can figure out what's wrong with it. That can be a pinched nerve in the lower back. We're starting to get more and more people that are understanding the connection between their whole body. So they might come in. I've actually had medical personnel referred to me by other medical personnel because their immune system needed help. Now that's chiropractic progressing. When a healthcare professional comes into me and says, I would like you to assess my spine and adjust what we call subluxations. That's a misalignment of the spine. Subluxation is less than a dislocation. So I've had medical people come to me and say, I want you to assess my spine, adjust it, and help improve my immune system function.
Right. Now, is that more due to the fact that we're starting to understand that pain management, which is not a bad thing, but pain management is essentially just treating the symptom and masking it and not getting to the root cause, whereas chiropractic tries to go directly to the root cause of the issue.
Mm-hmm. And it can be a complicated issue. It's not always just a misalignment of the spine. It can be an issue with a muscle that's pulling on the spine. It can oftentimes, what it is something that a person does repetitively through their day, whether it's, the way they sit and watch TV for 3 hours, or what they do at their job, the way they lean at their computer for 8 hours or 10 hours, or being on their feet. But yes, traditional pain management is starting to change. We have an opioid issue in our country that is very significant, to the point that the government has started to get involved to try to limit the amount of days that opioids, like the amount of prescription that can be given. There's actually legislation that I just heard about last night that has gotten to the governor's desk in West Virginia. It hasn't been signed yet. It is basically stating that primary care physicians, medical doctors, need to refer to either like a physical therapist or a chiropractor, some form of conservative care, before even prescribing an opioid. Painkillers work. There's no doubt about it. They work, but they're dangerous. They can be addictive, very addictive. And you're right. It is masking the problem. If I had an elephant standing on my foot right now, I could take a painkiller. I could take enough painkillers that it wouldn't bother me and I wouldn't notice it.
But your foot's still broken.
But I would rather remove the elephant from my foot. So if you have a
Remove
pinched nerve in your spine that's causing a headache, here's an example. I literally had a patient, this is years ago. She was there's a Walgreens, if you want another landmark for my office, on the other side of La Mesa. She was at the Walgreens drive-thru. She had headaches for so long that eventually she had been prescribed depression medication, because clinically that had been shown to help with some headaches that they couldn't have any effect with their other traditional medications. She was in line to go pick up this prescription, and she saw my sign. And she said, I'm not depressed. I just have had a headache for so many days in a row. And so she came into my office. We did the consult, took x-rays, which I have a digital x-ray machine now, and have actually for 10 years now, and it's wonderful. And so we can see the images right away. And I felt comfortable just doing a very gentle relief treatment. And she came back the next day for my report to see what I'd found. And she didn't have a headache, for the first time in a long, long time.
Which I will say, it is nice having x-rays taken, because it's nice sitting there and then physically seeing, here's where you're misaligned, and you can go, holy smoke. So like you can see it plain as day, like where the vertebrae's out or where the pinch might be, rather than just somebody kind of wagging it with their thumb and we're going to adjust here. So I'm glad you brought headaches back up again. What have you found to be the number one cause of the headaches? Is it a misalignment in the neck? Is it a pinched nerve somewhere else?
Usually it's a misalignment in the neck or the upper thoracic spine, which is the mid-back. That's the most common. Classically, I would say the very top vertebrae in the neck, C1 and C2, those seem to be the most common, but anywhere through the neck or the thoracic spine can cause headaches.
Now, what do you think seems to be the biggest cause? Is it how we're sleeping? Is it how we're holding our head when we're driving in the car?
That's an excellent question. And a common question, because most people, I suppose, this is my assumption, think that people come into me because they've had an accident or they've had trauma.
Whiplash from a car wreck. Right?
Yeah. And we can get to that because that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later when someone's had trauma. But honestly, most of the time people come to me and they're frustrated because they just turned to pet their dog, or they went to reach and grab a coffee cup out of the cupboard and something slipped, or they woke up with it.
Mundane task.
Yeah.
Hurts you.
So I was young when I got out of chiropractic school, and I had people coming into me then as patients saying I slept wrong, and I hadn't slept wrong in my life. I didn't have any idea what they were talking about. I cannot tell you how many people just wake up with a misalignment. Now, it didn't just happen overnight. It happens little by little by little. So you said, how does this happen? It happens from stress. 3 different types of stress. Physical stress, that one's obvious. I fell down my stairs. That can cause a misalignment of the spine. Emotional stress or job stress, whether it's emotional or just too much put on your shoulders, that type of stress can actually affect our hormones and eventually our muscles. When you're under stress, how you feel tight.
Well, your shoulders are tight, your traps are tight, which starts to pull on the spine.
Absolutely. If you can picture what a vertebra looks like, it's an irregular shaped bone with all these little projections. Those are for muscle attachments so that our muscles can pull those bones into lateral flexion and extension and rotation. So when those muscles attach to that and those muscles start to get tight, that starts to pull on the vertebra. Vertebra starts to pinch the nerve. The nerve, when it gets irritated, people always think of diminished signal. At first, it actually gets excited. That goes to the muscle, makes it contract and tighten up more, and the cycle continues. So an adjustment reboots that computer. But the third way is chemical stress. So you've got physical stress, emotional stress, and then also chemical stress. Now that can be in junk we put in our body from a fast food restaurant. That can be from drugs, alcohol. That can also be prescription drugs. And even if those are correctly prescribed and well intended, there is a side effect to every medication we put in our body. Any medication that you put in your body, your liver, your kidneys, your body goes immediately to work trying to get rid of it.
Right, the body's trying to maintain homeostasis. It's a foreign substance.
Absolutely.
Good, bad, or indifferent. The body doesn't want it there.
We want to be in balance. I'm not sure I did the best job of explaining the nervous system and its relationship or the way it's put together, kind of a backup to anatomy class for people. Your brain sits on top. Brainstem is below that, connects to the brain. Brainstem connects to the spinal cord. Spinal cord runs through a tunnel in your vertebrae that goes all the way down to your lower back. And off of that, there are 31 pair of spinal nerves that have to branch in between all of those vertebrae. 7 cervical vertebrae in your neck, 12 thoracic vertebrae in your mid-back that your 12 ribs attach to, and then 5 lumbar vertebrae in your lower back. That's a lot of little tunnels for those nerves to get through. People always act like, how could this go out? How could something go wrong? I look at it like, how on earth does anybody stay in place with all those?
There's a lot of opportunity for failure when you really look at the structure of the anatomy.
And children need adjusted so much. And there's so many kids that are suffering and that are on medications that they don't need to be on simply because they have subluxations or misalignments that are not addressed. And I get it. I understand. It's out of sight, it's out of mind. And with kids, a lot of times we look at them and it's like, if they're not bleeding or broken, you're fine. You're fine. I get it. I grew up, I didn't go to a chiropractor until I was 13 and, everything was toughen up. You're fine. Rub some dirt on it, shake it off.
Now, do kids get out of alignment because they're more active than adults and running into stuff and falling out of trees, or is it because they're growing and the body's still adjusting?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
People will ask me, why would a kid need an adjustment? And my office is right across the street from Ackerman Elementary School, and I say, go over there and watch that playground for 5 minutes. And in that amount of time, you're going to see 3 kids get tripped.
Fall off the jungle gym.
4 kids get tackled. Yep. And so, yes, they're constantly, think about it. Kids, they're not afraid when they're little, and they don't have depth perception, and they walk off of tables, and they fall downstairs, and, things happen. Even the process of being born can be a traumatic experience to the spine. Which I remember specifically my chiropractor telling me that. And, I was 13, 14 at the time, and I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, well, people have been being born for thousands of years and, I think have done fine. Then I saw my first child born and I realized,
holy smokes,
that's a lot of force on a tiny little spine.
When I was in high school, specifically when I was in 9th grade, I remember I could just twist in my chair and it sounded like the 4th of July would go off in my back. Mm-hmm. And now I can't do it to save my life.
Sure.
What's the difference there?
Okay.
In other words, why I could at one point in my life I could just twist and it felt like my whole spine would adjust on its own, and now I could probably twist 360. I don't get a sound out of it.
That really goes to the pliability of your connective tissue.
Okay.
As we get older, we tend to get more stiff. So, you think about little kids and they can bend and twist and they're flexible. Their muscles are flexible, their tendons have more stretch, and their ligaments, which that's the part that connects bone to bone of every joint, their ligaments are even more pliable and flexible. As we get older, we lose that. That is why it's really important for people to have a stretching routine. My patients that stretch on a daily basis by far and away do better than those that do not. Some of it also is our diet. And as you get older, people tend to just go to their comfort, diet soda or whatever it is. Don't drink much water. And if you're not well hydrated, you're not very pliable. But that is normal. And through the aging process, Mother Nature, Father Time are undefeated. You can do a lot to combat that.
Well, Dr. Faimon, I appreciate the time. We've run out of time really quick, and we'll have to do this again because, like you said, you also do acupuncture, and I'd like to talk about that more and what that exactly is. And again, that's a whole nother subject area that there's a lot of myth and mystery around that and what it's really doing and different ways to do acupuncture as well. But I appreciate the time today. Again, everybody, check out his practice over 156 in Q, right behind La Mesa. And Walgreens is tucked in the little shopping center. Right around the corner is the UPS store in Bobo, China, a restaurant I like to go to all the time. In fact, usually when I go get your adjustment, I'll walk around and have lunch right away.
Yeah, great.
But check him out. Again, it's been there for 15 years now. Somebody I personally go to and has helped my sciatic issue, so I highly recommend him. Dr. Faimon, thanks again. I appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Treadmills and Tangents, your health and wellness show right here on The Answer, 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. When you walk into Mid-American Martial Arts, you're walking into more than punching and kicking. You're walking into a community, and that is what I think sets us apart from everybody else. You're going to be training with a group of people who are here to better themselves beyond the punching and kicking. We train anywhere from 4 years old, and we have students as old as in their 60s here. Actually, we've had private students well into their 70s. Our main programs are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, Judo, as well as our strength and conditioning program, which is our Training for Warriors program. Our main goal is that when people leave here, they feel better about themselves. They're a little bit better as a person, they feel a little bit about their life, they feel better about their day. Now, everybody holds baggage, everybody has stress. This is the place where they can come in and put all that away for a little bit and work on themselves. Yeah, do we hope they can defend themselves better? Sure. Do we hope they can punch and kick a little better? Absolutely. Do we hope they lose a little bit of body fat and get a little bit more endurance? Absolutely. But none of that matters if they don't feel good about themselves. And that's the main key. If they can walk out of here feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their life, then we've won that day. And welcome back, everybody. You listen to Treadmills and Tangents. Coach coming at you here in the Man Cubby with Timmy and Sam.
Woo,
Guys,
Man Cubby! Yeah. Mint green looks real good on you.
What's funny is I look up and I see a pink blanket hanging up. And I'm like, yep, Man Cubby, pink blanket.
Well, Sam had to bring his blanket. He was a little tired.
Not that there's anything wrong with pink, but
no.
Well, it's got hearts on it, too.
You know what I'm getting at.
His mommy made it for him. It's okay.
No doubt. Tim, what's on the Twitter?
So, looking on Twitter this morning, just kind of scrolling through some health trends. The one that kind of jumped out at me was 7 side effects of soda.
And that's on the mindfulness and wellness. The handle is @HealingMB. I wonder what the MB stands for. I always wonder when I see the Twitter handles, like, what do they really mean? MB.
Mind and body, maybe?
Oh, I like that. That's a good.
And if it's not it,
it's kind of like looking at license plates. Like, what are they saying?
Oh,
and
you
you almost rear end them as you're trying to figure out what the license plate is.
Cracks me up.
So it's just a chart. 7 side effects of soda. The phosphoric acid weakens bones and rots teeth. Yeah.
I'm sure Dr. Berg, our dentist friend who's been on the show and works out with us.
He loves people that drink soda.
I bet he does. Keep paying our car payment. Thank you.
High fructose corn syrup, a concentrated form of sugar. Yeah, we know obviously sugar's bad for you. Excessive artificial sweeteners makes you crave more. And there's also evidence that artificial sweeteners will also spike your insulin as well. Potassium, benzoate, preservative, broken down into benzene in your body. Keep your soda in the sun, and benzene equals a carcinogen. Ooh.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Neither did I. That's not good.
If you let your soda, if you're out on the patio having a cocktail, the benzene can result in a carcinogen. I did not know that.
Vodka waters, buddy.
There you go. There's some truth to that. And then food dyes can impair brain function.
Wow.
We're going to have to research that a little more.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I wasn't aware that food, you always hear, I remember growing up, the red dye number, whatever it was. Everybody stay away from it. It's going to kill you. Red dye number 10. I don't know what it was.
Potion number 9.
Potion. And formaldehyde is a carcinogen.
Right, which...
That's, yeah.
Caramel
Obviously.
color made from the correct caramel is purely cosmetic. It doesn't add flavor, yet it's tainted with carcinogens. A lot of carcinogens in soda.
Oh, so in other words, when they have aspartame in them, as your stomach digests it, it turns into formaldehyde, carcinogenic type of.
Wow.
Yeah, so stay away from soda. I think
Just
we all
gonna
know
say,
that, guys.
Stop drinking soda,
Stay away
man.
from soda. Now, we're not talking about like seltzer water or sparkling water, things like that.
Talking
We're
about your name
about
brand.
full up soda or pop or soda pop
Or dirty pop if you're
or
in sync.
Coke.
Or some cola. Get you some
Yeah.
cola.
Go ahead and wrap yourself in that pink blanket over there.
Yeah.
And
That's
then-
Sam's blanket. I don't want it.
Dirty
More.
pop.
It's all yours.
What else is tweeting,
So the other thing that I kind
Twitter,
of
and
ran across here was some interesting stuff, some benefits of foam rolling.
I want to talk about foam rolling. Martin Rooney, who's the founder of Training for Warriors, which is the program we run down at Mid-American Martial Arts, he always laughs that if you're worried about foam rolling your biceps, you're worried about the wrong things when it comes to health and fitness, right?
Hey, man.
Because, but there is some serious benefit to foam
Sure,
rolling.
yeah.
He says that in jest because most people just don't know how to do it the right way.
Right.
And you're focused on all the wrong things.
Sure.
When people ask him for health and fitness advice, his first question is, do you eat broccoli? If you don't eat broccoli, then go start eating broccoli
You
and
are
then come
wrong.
back to
Correct
me,
yourself.
right? So you're worried about what different kind of curl techniques you should be doing and you don't eat broccoli.
Or broccoli, if you believe in the bro science.
Broccoli.
Broccoli. It's broccoli.
And
Thanks,
broccoli,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
which is GMO, by the way.
Yes,
See
it
GMO
is.
haters out there.
We
We
failed
learned
that.
that, yeah.
We failed that question.
So the benefits of foam rolling. So what foam rolling is, it's just a myofascial release. Like it's self-massage using a tool, which is the foam roller.
Right.
Now, the big thing is you got to be careful. What kind of foam roller? There's some people that say the harder the better. Well, yeah, you will get a deeper massage, and the pressure, the weight of your body then between the foam roller and actually your bone will now hit the muscle from both sides and do the fascial release.
Right.
And then you get trigger points, which are basically when you find that knot. So anybody that's foam rolled, you'll be rolling along and everything feels good. Then you'll hit that spot where you just want to scream.
Your leg starts twitching.
Yeah,
Like,
you
oh boy.
want to cry like a baby. And that's a spot where you got to kind of grind it in there, maybe sit on it for a little bit. Just like a masseuse. When a masseuse finds a knot, they'll sit there and put constant pressure on it to get that spot and that muscle to
Those
release.
time masseuses, speaking of.
Yeah.
Great A.
Indeed. So when you foam roll, yeah, there is going to be, again, this is where we talked about pain, right? It shouldn't be so much pain where you can't bear it.
Right.
Okay, if it's like that, get a softer foam roller for a while so your body can get used to that pressure.
Should be uncomfortable.
Right? It's like a deep
Yeah.
tissue massage. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you're going to feel wonderful after.
Right.
Now, when to foam roll? Well, some people say, oh, if do it when you're sore. I'm in favor of doing it like a prehab. As my, getting ready for a workout, you start foam rolling some areas that are tight on you. As you're warming up, if you feel areas that are more tight than normal, go ahead and grab the foam roller and roll it out. Now, you don't want to do it so much that it becomes like a relaxing massage because you are trying to work out.
Right.
But you want to roll it to the point where you're getting things loose, right? You're getting that release. You're getting that range of motion back. And yes, it is going to be uncomfortable, especially when you get on that IT band. Oh, that can be brutal. There's certain parts of my hips where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know this is going to be uncomfortable. I don't want to say hurt and be painful
Right.
because that's how some people will describe it, but that's not what we're getting at here. It's just going to be uncomfortable because it's tight. Like it's tight muscles. And
I made
but
my own safe word when I foam roll. If it gets too heavy, I'm like, pumpernickel, and then I just stop myself, and then I recollect.
You're making a safe word.
Oh, I'm not doing it right then?
well, it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends. There's all kinds of foam rollers. You got foam rollers that vibrate now. You got foam rollers with spikes on it. It's just like anything else, guys. People are going to take it to an extreme. Well,
Sure.
The harder the foam roller, the better. And if a hard one's good, put one with spikes on it. That's going to be even better.
I need to get one with
And
lights
that's not
stuff.
necessarily the case, right? Like, go with what you're tolerable to. Yeah, a harder one can get a little bit deeper, but not necessarily. When you find that spot that's a little bit uncomfortable, you got to sit there and you got to work it. You got to roll
Sure.
back and forth on it. That's why it's foam rolling. And you can foam roll all parts of your body. I always hit my hips and my IT band real good, but I'll go belly down and hit my hip flexors. I'll roll it up and down my back.
Yeah, I do my
I'm a
lower
big
back
fan
a
of the
lot.
back.
Yeah, I get tight between my shoulder blades, so
Yep.
I'll wrap my arms around myself so I can expose those areas a little more and roll up and down. And there's times where I just like, oh my gosh, this is almost unbearable. But I'll just slow down and roll a little bit slower, but man, you feel like $1,000,000 afterwards.
Sure, yeah.
So
Agreed.
I can't. Now, by no means is it going to make you stronger, or is it going to make your muscles bigger, right? It's, remember, prehab and rehab. That's
Right.
what it's for.
You got to take care of the whole package of your body.
And then some people take tennis balls and roll their feet,
Yep,
or,
I do that.
racket balls, or golf balls.
Hard week of tie, and I'll do it. And
Yeah.
it feels, oh my god.
And then the nice thing about the
That's
feet, there's a lot of trigger points on the feet, so you can relax the whole body. I've seen little balls with spikes on them.
When we
Yeah.
were in Thailand, we walked through. They had this event across the street where they were selling everything under the sun. It was
Oh, those
insane.
sandals.
They had sandals with all these
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
points, and the guy was telling us as you walk, you learn to move your foot into a different spot, and it does different things. And we wore them, and they were weird, man.
Well, they had
were
little, the pressure points had little springs on
weird.
them.
Yeah,
Right? So it's like, 50 these, like, I don't know what to call them, dots.
right.
And they all had different tension springs on them. And as you walked,
Yeah, and you could
it would
feel it.
push
It was,
up into
it
your
was trippy.
feet. Yeah.
We
but
almost bought some for $10.
It did
but
feel
they
good,
didn't
though.
have our size. Everyone over there's got
Yeah,
small feet. I guess
they didn't
Sam
have
looked like he
American-sized
was,
feet.
Sam looked like he was shoving in the kids section. Yeah, these skis over here.
So, I encourage everybody should get a foam roller, especially if you've got back problems, general tightness, you can foam roll several times a day.
Mhm.
It is what it is. If stretching's not doing it for you, just try a foam roller, and then, but start out slow and then slowly go to build up your tolerance, and eventually you can get, I know people just use a straight PVC pipe
That's what I use.
Wow,
and
that's
just
gangster.
use a straight PVC
I love
pipe
it.
and get right to it. You got to build up to that. I always suggest, especially if you're a little bit older, no need to go right there.
Sure.
But yeah, get a foam roller, guys. You can get them. They're cheap. You can get them for $5-10,
Right. And they come in yes.
But
like
you can
said,
get
so
ones that
many
are
flavors.
$180 too.
Right.
So,
You don't need to be getting that crazy.
no, you don't need to at all. And get the benefits of it. But use it as prehab and rehab, pre and post workout. I usually do it as a pre-workout to get things going. But there's sometimes I'll just grab it in the middle of the day. Like when my back starts to tighten up or I feel like a spasm's coming on, I'll just start foam rolling
Yes,
and
Sam
get
and I
to it.
foam roll often. Usually we get to the gym a little early.
together.
Yeah.
We turn the heat on. We don't share a foam roller.
Wait,
we each have
you
our
turn
own.
the heat on and then foam roll together?
We turn on a
Is that
little,
what I heard?
a little Marvin Gaye. I mean, there's no need to judge.
We don't
the way
turn lights on, just
the
use
way we foam
candles.
roll is no one else. Is none of your concern.
I'm
But
just going to assume that you're sharing a foam
we
roller.
get in that, especially
No,
on
because
a
I
day.
like the PVC one.
That's
He
true.
doesn't.
He likes it a little harder than I do. So we'll foam roll, but we usually get in on days, especially we know we're going to do something like a deadlift and loosen the back up a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
just because as we've gotten older, I'm not a spring chicken these days, so
I don't want to hear it.
And
I got 10 years on you. I don't want to hear it.
I don't mind spending a little time to do that, and then I feel better, and then I'm more flexible, and
There you
it just
go.
makes my workout better because I spent 5 minutes, taking the time to do that. So
Let's
It's worth
do
it.
one more thing on the tweet. What's tweeting?
well, let's
Let's
just
scroll down
through
there.
here.
What's Dorothy talking about?
Nature's candy equals
Equals
fruit.
fruit. I like this, guys. I like this because I'm gonna poo-poo it. Right?
Oh, we haven't poo-pooed something
Yeah,
in
we
a while.
have.
Right. So a lot of people will be like, "Hey, fruit's good for you." Fruit. I'm gonna go back to you're taking in sugar, right?
Right.
So you got to be very careful. Now, fruit, yes, does have more fiber than a Snickers bar. It does have more fiber than a Jolly Rancher.
But if you're hungry,
However,
why wait?
it generally is not going to be enough fiber that if you're an overweight person or you're diabetic or you have insulin issues or metabolic issues, you need to get rid of the sugar out of your diet. And with that is fruit.
Right.
Fruit is sweet by nature. Remember what a fruit is meant to do. It's
Tastes
the
delicious.
reproductive portion of the plant.
Right.
Right? It has a seed in the middle of it for a reason. Again, it's loaded with sugar. 5 to 7 servings of fruit and vegetables in a day. I will agree 5 to 7 servings of vegetables in a day,
Right.
not fruit.
Right.
Okay? Because that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, I don't
And
eat
so-
a lot of fruit. Usually it's maybe
Yeah.
right after a heavy workout or I do full fat Greek yogurt and I'll throw a little bit of blueberries in there. I usually stick with the berries because they're lower in sugar and
But you get the
carbs.
antioxidants out of it.
Right.
Right,
So
and I get the antioxidants.
to hang on the statement, fruit is better than the alternative of ice cream, cookies, or cake. True statement.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
comma,
You still get the sugar.
you still get the sugar. You're still spiking your insulin. You're still doing potentially bad things to your body.
yeah, and if you like fruit and if it's something for you, research all the fruits. Like I said, berries are lower. There's bananas are not good. There's
Cherries,
so much-
cherries tend to be lower glycemic. Green bananas are okay. They
Right.
tend to be lower glycemic, but not many people can tolerate a green banana. Yeah, you're right. Not all fruits are created equal. So research your fruits.
Do your research.
By the way, dried fruit is not better than regular fruit. Dry fruit actually has
What?
more sugar in it.
If I put water on it, does it make it a
So when
regular
you
fruit
when you get like your trail mix that all the granola people think is good for you, trail mix, and it's loaded with all this dried fruit, you're getting a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of grains, and usually there's a lot of brown sugar on it as well.
If I can give you any advice for the day, read the package. If you think it's trail mix is good for you. turn it over and read it. Like it's insane. Like, oh, it's a Trader Joe's healthy all natural fruit. Turn it over and read it. You will be surprised at where. I know we harp on sugar all the time, but it's because it's everywhere. It's in everything.
Right. So the caption on this picture: "Nature's candy equals fruit." If you see the word candy, yes,
Right.
it is what it is. Right?
Right.
So candy is bad for you. We know that. Just be careful, guys. Is what we're saying. All right. Enough of the Twitter. Guys, we're gonna sample. We don't have a catchy song for our food truck.
Yeah.
We haven't done our hoopty song for a food truck. But anyway, speaking of food and snacks, in your Hy-Vee section, Sam, are these in the organic section?
Yes.
So we got K's, right? K's creates protein chips. Now you're thinking, chips, Aaron, you harp on us to stay away from chips all the time. Well, I just want you to be aware that these are out there, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. While they are a alternative to regular chips, again, they're not 100% healthy on our list. So again, it says protein chips, gluten-free, right on the front. I'm looking at the chili nacho cheese, gluten-free protein chips. 12 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber, only 115 calories. Now, a lot of people are going to key on that, guys. It's only 115 calories. What a great little snack for me. I don't bust my Weight Watchers. But like Tim just said, flip it over. There is 15 grams of carbs in it. Only 1 gram of sugar, which, okay, kudos to that. Only 1 gram of sugar, so I'll give you that. So most of your carbs are coming from the grains in this case. There's not a lot of sugar in it. So that is a plus.
What's the serving size on that bad boy?
1 container.
Okay, so
12-ounce bag. No, a 12-ounce bag. Oh my gosh. A 1.2-ounce bag. 1.2-ounce bag.
12-ounce bag. What?
we have got to start your coffee earlier.
So you're getting 12 grams of protein, 15 grams of carbs, so it's pretty balanced, 2.5 grams of fat. So it's not a terrible snack, right? It's better than regular chips.
Sure.
100% better than regular
That's
chips.
not hard to do though.
So we have veggie pizza, and these are protein puffs. Veggie pizza protein puffs. Again, same count, 12 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber, 2.5 grams of fat. Now, guys, here's one thing I want to say. And my kids eat, I'm sure you guys have seen veggie straws out there.
Yeah.
And the veggie straw is gluten-free, right? And I'm like, okay, it's vegetables. Well, generally speaking, it's just potatoes. It's puffed potatoes. Okay, so it's essentially the same thing as a potato chip. But you see veggie straws, you see that they're different colors. There's green and orange and yellow ones. So you think, oh, it must be all kinds of good vegetables. Well, generally they're not. It's just either puffed rice or puffed potatoes.
With some dye on it.
With some dye on it. Now, I'm trying... These are good. Don't get me wrong. The
good.
veggie pizzas are good.
Yeah, the veggie pizza was good.
These are puffs. When you see the word puffs, generally there's nothing natural that's puffed that I've ever seen that grows in a puffed state. I would watch the sodium on these. The sodium creeps up on you a little bit. Again, these are K's, protein puffs, protein chips. And what's this third one?
It's
white cheddar,
like
I think.
a white cheddar.
White cheddar. These are crunchy chips. Crunchies. Oh.
Crunchy.
Play on words. Crunchies. Cruncheeze. Crunchies.
The best flavor one for me was the veggie pizza. The crunch cheese is a little...
White cheddar's pretty good.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Again, guys, what would a better snack be? Grab some fresh vegetables. Dip
With
them
some
in.
awesome sauce.
With some awesome sauce, or some ranch, get some fat in with it, or just some cheese. Eat some real cheese. Real cheese and cheese curds.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say. If you want to throw a snack in for your kids, these are better than potato chips, straight up potato chips. So they're better than some of your veggie puffs that are regular, that are really just puffed potatoes. It's soy protein that you put on. So if you're not a big fan of the soy protein, you want to probably avoid these. But I mean, a little bit of soy protein is not going to kill you. These are all corn and rice, so that's where they get the gluten-free from. But it is still corn and rice, so you're still getting your grains in on these. So be cognizant of that. So
and they sell well, Sam, right?
They do sell well.
Oh yeah.
People are loving these right now.
Well, they key in on the low calorie and the high protein and gluten free labels, right?
And protein's written huge across the back.
Of course it is, right? And gluten free is in green lettering on white background, so that stands out. But you're still getting grains, you're still getting a lot of carbs. So just be careful about that.
Sure.
When you look at these snacks. All right, guys, we're gonna cut it off here right now. And you're listening to Treadmills and Tangents, 94.5 FM, 1420 AM, your health and wellness show coming at you every Saturday, 9 a.m., right here from the Man Cubby.
Man Cubby!
Hopefully soon to be Man Cave once we get it figured out. But again, guys, thanks for listening. Check out our Facebook, check out our Twitter, check out our Instagram. We got our social media everywhere, but mostly Facebook's where we put stuff out.
Right.
We're always putting out good information. Again, ask us questions, send us messages. We're happy to answer any topic and cover any topic that you want to hear. Right here on The Answer, 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. We'll see you next Saturday.
Tune in each Saturday morning with fun banter on what it takes to live a healthier, happier, and more vibrant life in the Big O. Treadmills and Tangents with Coach Aaron Cerrone and his army of wellness warriors.